So imagine my surprise when I pulled up at the local theater, going around the back for my boys to let me in, because you know that I'm not paying for these trash movies. Nothing out in the last 10, 15 years has been worth my money. But imagine my surprise when we're 3, 4 days out from the premiere. I already see these MCU nerds lining up to get a front row seat for Thor, Love and Thunder. They're already lined up, camped out. They pitched their tents. They got charcoal grills. They brought a change of clothes. Like, oh my God, bro. And they're hyped. They're unironically hyped. Their dicks are hard. Their pussies are wet. They are standing at full attention for the fourth failed outing with this clown Hemsworth at the helm. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Thor, Love and Thunder? We're like Thor, failure and regret. We've given this dumbass and the idiot who portrays him, 3 standalone films now to make a fucking wave. And he hasn't. Every single one of the Thor films has underperformed, whether we're talking about the OG Thor that had absolutely nothing to do with the MCU by bringing a literal god into the picture, to that actually really good film, Thor, The Dark World, that everybody else seemed to hate, but I acknowledge it for the true art that it is. And then they completely ruined it with Thor Ragnarok. They say Thor Ragnarok is a superhero film with edges of comedy that reinvented Thor. Bitch, they reinvented what? It wasn't a comedy, it was a tragedy. It was a fucking tragedy what they did to Thor. Completely bastardized the character. The fact that his eye got gouged out only to be retconned in Endgame because Hemsworth didn't want to wear an eye patch. The fact that they cut this motherfucker's hair because Hemsworth didn't want to wear a wig. There sure is a lot of fucking effort to please Hemsworth. And for what? He was the least valuable member out of the original MCU Avengers crew, bro. The least. The only reason that Loki was the actual villain in the OG Avengers film was because they realized without that brother, without that familial connection to Thor, Thor was completely irrelevant to the plot. They could have... Seriously, think about it. Go back and watch MCU circa 2012 with the Avengers and act like Thor isn't there. Loki is the only thing tethering him to that universe. Every single Thor film has a Hemsworth problem. If they wouldn't have cast this blonde, 40-year-old washed-up clown to begin with, we might actually be making some progress. But those idiotic garbage tier writers over at Marvel and Disney continue to beat the same, not just dead, but decaying, rotting horse that is the Thor films. This motherfucker should have died in Endgame. Someone explain to me why we need to have him team up with Everybody Hates Chris Part 2 and fucking Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy just to keep these 2 dead franchises in the MCU alive just long enough to milk a little bit more money out of your goddamn pocket so you'll pony up the dough for Thor, Love and Thunder, and you'll pony up the dough for fucking Guardians 3, okay? Like, I'm beyond the point of being nice here. I was nice to you MCU nerds the first 10 years, but something's got to give. Something's got to give. Hemsworth is an absolute joke of an actor with no emotional range. People point to that scene of him in Infinity War where he's taking on the full power of that star or whatever as being emotional acting. Like... that's emotional. I guess to the Hemsworth fanboys, grunting as you're fucking straining your muscles like you're taking a fucking power dump is the most emotional range you'll ever get out of Hemsworth. But let's be real, Thor Love and Thunder was never going to be good. It doesn't matter if they did it just like the best MCU film, Thor The Dark World. It doesn't matter if they did that. If they retread the same ground, it wouldn't have the same effect. If they tried to copy Thor The Dark World, not just the most underrated MCU film, but easily top 5 films of all time. And if you're not on that level, see, what Thor The Dark World did is it went over your MCU IQ lower than room temperature with the air conditioning ons, intellectual capacity. You weren't able to fully understand what Thor The Dark World did for the MCU. Thor The Dark World set up everything that was good about Thor, and then they fucking retconned the shit out of it, and they ruined it. They fucking ruined it. And every single one of you lining up already got your advance tickets for Thor Love and Thunder. You're directly responsible for ruining the best incarnation we've ever seen as Thor. What is this film bringing to the table? All right? It's bringing to the table a fat contract to make sure Natalie Portman gets paid because the dumbass wasn't smart enough to come back for Thor Ragnarok, all right? She realized she fucked up. She wants to drain a little bit more of the MCU money well while it's still profitable. So she's back, and we're getting woman Thor because, women's rights, and it's 2022, and they're just as strong as men. God damn, I'm so sick of this SJW-filled narrative. Women belong in the goddamn kitchen, okay? If you're not prepared to accept facts while making me a sandwich, massaging my feet after I've been working all day to put a roof over your fucking head, there's nothing more we have to discuss. What else are we getting? We're getting washed up 50-year-old Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher. Now, I actually read the comics that this is based on. I read the Thor comic this was based on. It was amazing. It was a fucking work of art, and that fact is how I know they're going to fuck it up, because they have failed to adapt even the most basic comics into the MCU properly. Civil War was all fucked up with role reversal and refusing to kill superheroes. Spider-Man No Way Home was a shoddy, shallow fucking failure on every Spider-Verse front. The MCU is nothing if not inconsistent, but the one thing they're consistent at is fucking up their consistency. They are complete idiots. They have dicks in their heads. All they can see are dollar signs. Let me go ahead and spoil what happens in Thor Love and Thunder, because I read the comic book, all right? Let me go ahead and spoil what happens at the end of this movie, just so I can save you 2.5 hours of gritting your teeth and being forced to bear that absolute fucking emotional range piece of celery, blonde-haired, buffoon-looking motherfucker known as Hemsworth, all right? Let me tell you what happens. You see, Gore the God Butcher, he comes out here, he's all pissed off because gods think they're all almighty. They think that they're, like, the best. Well, spoiler alert, Gore, they are. Gods are gods for a reason, and for you to even question one, just like you peasants down there in the comments trying to question me, you'll never be on my level. It doesn't matter how angry you are. But anyway, what ends up happening is at the end of the comic, Gore and Thor actually make up. They become friends. They become more than friends. They become friends with benefits. Basically, Gore, looking like this Voldemort, crusty old pale white motherfucker, disrobes Thor. That's a callback to anybody who remembers my God of the War spoiler video. He disrobes Thor, and then in the most shocking twist of the MCU to date, turns out Thor is a bottom. So he turns over, he bends over. We're talking, he's butt-ass naked, bent over a fucking table, and Gore goes to Pound Town. Not just with his fucking dick. That's the thing, not just with his dick. Motherfucker grabs Mjolnir, and I'm not talking about handle side. He shoves that motherfucker so far up Thor's ass, Thor's G-spot explodes. We do a very, very fucking close-up of Thor's cock as it comes everywhere, and then we cut to black. But we can't end there, because MCU needs to insert fucking 13 scenes during the credits, so then we get to see the cleanup crew come in, wiping the shit off fucking Mjolnir after it's done penetrating Thor's ass, and then in the true end credit scene, after all the other end credit scenes are done, in the final scene of the movie, Hemsworth, limp dick, just got his ass fucked raw, comes onto the screen and starts laughing at you. Laughing at you dumbasses who have funded his fucking bank account for the last 15 years, because he'll never need to work again. He'll never need to put on the robe again. He'll never need to wear a wig again. He'll never need to wear an eye patch again. He's living off your fucking money. And that's the true plot twist of the MCU. That's the true plot twist of this movie. You dumbasses have made this motherfucker's career because you want to buy into the idea that Thor, the almighty god, is a good superhero. Well, spoiler alert, he's not. But even bigger spoiler, Hemsworth, a D-list actor at best, made fucking millions because he and a bunch of smart-ass execs over there at Disney pulled the wool over your fucking eyes and made you buy into not one, not two, not three, but 4 fucking Thor movies. What an absolute joke you are.